It's not going to be laser straight, but then neither was the RGS. This part of the job is taking a little more time than I had expected, but there's a few factors that come in. The trestle has a tendency to move when you don't want it to. And of course you're trying to work on it without pushing too much pressure on it and destroy the darn thing. Although I've been known to hit it with the hammer. Oh, spikes. Gentle persuasion.
Nothing like using the Mark 1 eyeball.
I think it's crooked sometimes.
So when you're doing your hand laying track, your spikes, what's sort of the count that you typically use to hold it all in place?
Sorry?
How many ties do you do every tie?
No, I don't do every tie. I'd be here forever. I usually go every 5th tie on the main line. I'll go a little tighter here. I might go every 4th. Trains aren't going to be running today.
No, that's for sure. Won't even push a test car along to see if it goes okay?
There's only one rail in.
Well, that'll make at least one set of wheels go okay.
It'll be a bit of a rough ride on one side.
So you assembled that bridge basically since the last visit out of bits and pieces?
There are a few changes here, which we'll have to get into.
Yeah.
I wound up building new vents. Now, to start with, I used as much of the original trestle as possible.
Yeah.
But I had to lengthen it here. Well, that small trestle that used to be here,
Yeah.
I broke it up and put a section of it in here that had to build new vents. On those old vents was only 15 feet.
Right.
These guys are 18 feet.
I see.
So,
and that's according to the book? They should be 18?
According to the Bible. So I couldn't use them, so I had to manufacture all new ones, which didn't take a lot of time. However, I did change a couple of techniques of doing it. Because when we first talked about this, I showed you these cutting jigs I had.
Yeah.
Well, I've since picked up a pretty neat little chop saw, and all I have to do is set up the angles and go zing, 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 and we're done. So that saves a whole lot of time and mess. So old technologies or old thinking has been replaced with a little bit of new thinking.
Right.
Yeah. Anywho, that's the way we're going.
Yep. See a big chunk of metal in the back there. What's that all about?
Well, I had put this here. I brought this up here to work as a guide for setting it up straight.
Oh, that's pretty handy.
It worked to a point.
Yeah, I can see. It's a little flexible to be 100% straight.
So I stopped using it after I got it reasonably accurate, and then I've been playing around with it. Now, unfortunately, the trestle moves easily. I pinned it in here and at the other end because it's not secure. And the only way to work on it is to work on it here.
Yeah.
Because if you try and do it in the shop, there's no support for it, and you'll just make it into a kid again.
Yeah.
So, you know, here I am, stuck in the middle of the railroad again, taking parts of the benchwork off so I can move around easier, but that's part of model railroading.
Well, what can you explain a little bit about? I mean, last time we came in, there's a big freaking hole there, right?
Yep.
And there's quite a bit of intricate bench work that you designed around the trestle.
Yeah, let me get out of here.
All right, maybe we can do a little bit of a chat about that.
So as you all remember, this great pile of plaster here that I did not like, and a trestle that ended about here. Now, by adding the 90 feet to the trestle, I brought the trestle closer to the 356 feet it was in real life, and it also makes it look far, far more impressive. So in order to do that, I've put a piece of plywood across the bottom here with risers going down to the layout, and these pieces actually get screwed right to the wall.
Is that what you did first before you even started?
So all this level was done first. That's based on this distance here, which required a little bit of, remember the string I used to have across?
Yeah.
Well, I used the string as the guide to figure out how low this was supposed to be, and then I put that piece in supposedly level. All right.
How did that work out for you?
That worked fine. So what I did then is I set the trestle in and got both ends flush or up against the spring. Okay. Then I started blocking in here. I set this piece of plywood in here with risers.
Yep.
So that I can make my blocks smaller. Because if you look at the last one there, that's a pretty long piece of wood.
Yep.
And I didn't want to do that all the way along. So with this end done, I then did this end. And to support this end of the trestle, I have this piece that's coming up here, catching the road bed. It's also catching here, and it's also catching this.
Yep.
So the whole thing now is a pretty solid one piece of wood. Then I come along and set the trestle on, and again I started cutting these guys to go underneath each one of the vents. Now I did not make them a tight fit. Because I came in with shims after to shim the trestle up, because I knew it's, from experience that that would be the easier way to do it.
Yeah.
But this bent here is actually sitting right on the initial piece of plywood. And then some dummy actually threw these guys out by mistake, so I've had to make new ones, which is fine. I think the new ones actually look better. And then this here road bed, I had to add about 32 inches of road bed. That's just a piece of 1x2 pine.
Right.
I looked at putting plywood and homosode in. I looked at putting laminate in. This was actually less work and went faster. Then I just laid the ties across and away we go.
Perfect.
But it's going to take a little longer to get the rails down,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to get it as straight as I can get it,
Right.
considering that trestle moves and such forth and such forth. Once that's done and I'm happy with the trains, with the way the equipment's going across it, then I'll come back and redo this base for 44A, and we'll be done, that part.
So at what point are you looking at me coming in and playing with the backdrop?
As soon as I get it painted, I guess.
Yeah. Well, are you going to fill in where you've torn away from the wall there, or what's the plan?
No, the hill here will pretty much follow this here, because
Yes.
it is quite high if you remember in the photographs.
Yes.
So I plan on building styrofoam right up to here.
Okay.
All right, and then there'll probably be a line of trees on top of it because it's heavily forested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still in a mountainous area, though.
Oh, it's
isn't
very
it?
mountainous.
Yeah.
You're right in the San Miguel Mountains.
I still think, though, what we should be doing is putting a little blue towards the ceiling, just to show the fact that there are tops to the mountains.
Yeah, I would go a very thin line of blue.
Yeah. Maybe
I
a
know
couple
we've
inches.
had this discussion before, but
Yeah.
I'd sooner have more mountain up than sky.
Yeah, I just think, though, if you had a bit of blue, that would allow you to put mountains in and a little bit of depth.
But if you remember in the photograph, this one hill just goes straight up. All right?
Yeah.
We can do that down this way.
Yeah.
We can play all kinds of ideas down there, because as the hills get lower, we can actually make the sky a little more present.
I guess one of the things that always troubled me was this corner here where the wall comes straight down. That it would be nice to see it kind of move into what the scenery is in the corner.
We're working on that.
Yeah, and that's my suggestion, that maybe at least towards the corner a bit, there is a bit of blue sky there.
Well, Peter Jackson suggested I do something like this.
Yeah.
And I'm considering.
Yeah.
All right. I may just put a piece of
a little bit more of scenic block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a good thing to do. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at it, but you got to keep in mind I've got to keep this building here too.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on a second while I find the building. Where the hide?
Oh, we saw it last time, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I've got to leave enough room for this building.
Yeah.
But I've also got to get some sort of block in. Now, one of the things.
Did they have any tunnels on the line? That's the problem, eh? If you could put a tunnel there, it would be perfect.
No, what I think I'm going to do, though, is when this hill comes up, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit higher here and over. That's one of the things I'm looking at.
And maybe even something in the foreground here, just a bit for
this step
above the track.
Yeah, this step that I had here is coming out.
Yeah.
And I was toying with doing something.
It would be a lot better to have it go into disappearing, I agree.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, too.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of thoughts here, Chris, but until I actually get to doing the scenery, nothing's firm. Well, it's got to be running by October when we start operating again, but hopefully by the end of the month I'll have it running, or hopefully by the end next week I'll have it running.
Yeah, on the upper level at least.
No, hopefully the whole thing.
Oh, so you're going to get that bottom trestle in as well.
The bottom is not going to be as much work.
Yeah.
I've also got to keep in mind I may be going west too.
Yeah, you were saying, you're looking at going to the real Colorado, eh?
Well, we're talking about it.
And then there's the narrow gauge convention in September.
Yep.
You get a chance to see a lot of the online viewers there. I'm sure they'll be chatting you up about this destructibility, eh? You're a star. You won't even get in the hotel and they'll be asking for your autograph, I'm sure.
So. I don't think so. I have had some people come up and thank me for the videos, so obviously some people are enjoying them and having fun with them. And
oh yeah, we all are.
Learning. And you know, that's what model railroading is all about. Helping each other solve problems and develop new ideas and new techniques. And this is what I'm doing here.
Well, I'm glad I was able to come by on this Sunday afternoon to catch a glimpse of the progress. It's either that or I may miss the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it was rather interesting pulling it out. I watched it again this morning. I was bored, and I said, who's that fool?
Hacking and banging.
Hacking and banging and driving the garbage man nuts. And, but it's done, and I'm much happier right now.
Oh, I can see it.
Much happier. I think it'll be a really neat scene when it's finished. It's going to be challenging. I've already talked to MD about coming over and giving me a hand with the styrofoam the way we did over there at Deep Creek.
Yeah.
So we're in link on that, so we'll get to work on that.
Now when he comes around to the mine building eventually, are they all going to be scratch built? Or
they're all going to be scratch built.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Be looking forward to getting glimpses of that process down the road.
Well, I hope to have the cardboard cut in, or cardboard rough in place, so I can do the scenery and get an idea as to what it is. Finishing the mill right away is not a priority.
Right.
Yeah, but getting a cardboard rough in is. I've also done quite a bit of work on the Grandview. I'll have to have a look at that.
Yes, I'll have to have a pop over there.
So that's what we're doing.
Roger that.
Yep.
Good.